Hello BuzzFamily, welcome to BuzzBarca. Today we'll be going over Barcelona transfer news including Vitor Roque's potential transfer, big offer for Raphinha, Merino slipping away to Arsenal, along with the start of Barcelona's preseason that is about to kick off in the USA. All that and much more. BuzzBarca. Starting off, let's talk about Nico Williams and his transfer to Barcelona. Obviously, everybody's been wondering when this transfer will be announced. Luckily for you, the wait isn't too long, as within the next week, the final decision will be made by Nico Williams. Currently, he is just enjoying his time off and he's partying with Lamine Yamal, so his agent is taking care of everything in the back end. Sources are saying that Nico Williams has already agreed up on terms with Barcelona, so the clubs are just figuring out the final details of the deal. So that is money going out for Barcelona, but there's some money that might come in at Barcelona, and that is a transfer for Raphinha. It is rumored that Barcelona have received an offer from Saudi Arabia for 65 million for Raphinha. Some sources even say that this deal can reach up to 100 million for that player. Obviously, he's a very attractive player at FC Barcelona that can raise a lot of funds for this team, but I don't think he wants to leave, and I don't think Barcelona are actually willing to even sell him. They will need depth for this coming season, and I know Hansi Flick has big plans for him, and we can't have Lamine Yamal play all the games at right wing. For this coming season, there's one player that won't get much playtime, and that is Vitor Roque. He has not impressed Hansi Flick this past preseason, and it doesn't even look like he might be the second striker on this team. Currently, he does not even have a squad number. Sources are saying that Al Hilal have offered big money for Vitor Roque. Obviously, Barcelona want to cash in, but it's all up to him. Obviously, this transfer has been handled very badly by Barcelona, and they shouldn't have brought him in the first place if Xavi didn't want him and now Hansi Flick doesn't want him. Vitor Roque and his agent actually have said that they actually don't want to go to Al Hilal, and that transfer is off the books now. Hopefully Hansi Flick can find something out of him, or it's a very bad look for Barcelona, especially with them going for a player like Dani Olmo at this time, and even in their financial situation, this transfer should have never happened if he was never going to make the team. One transfer that's been slipping away from Barcelona is Mikel Merino. It has been rumored that Mikel Merino and Arsenal are actually getting very close in the negotiations. It seems like Barcelona have put all their eggs towards Nico Williams and Dani Olmo, and they forgot about Mikel Merino. Or potentially Hansi Flick does not want him anymore, and we're just looking at him as a depth piece in the future if we do need him. And that will be up to Hansi Flick, as he will be taking a bunch of midfielders on the Barca tour to USA. As you can see here, Barcelona are going to the USA for 3 preseason games, playing against Man City, Real Madrid, and AC Milan. Only a few days ago, Barcelona flew in from Barcelona to Orlando, Florida, USA. Hansi Flick brought in a lot of players from the first team, from the second team, and even from the youth academy. In my opinion, this is very different from what Xavi did last preseason, as he brought in a lot of players from the first team, and it looked like he was just there to test out his tactics and see how the team would perform. However, I think Hansi Flick has different plans because of all the youth he has brought. He is probably looking for players that can make it to the first team. He also wants to give a lot of these youngsters a chance, so we can maybe uncover some gems like Kobarsi we did last season. Let's take a look at Hansi Flick and the players that he called up for preseason. Some of the regulars include Ter Stegen, Balde, Inigo Martinez, Lewandowski, Raphinha, Peña, Christensen, Romeu, Roque, Gundogan, Koundé, Julian Araujo, Longley, Torre, Casado, and Hector Fort. Most of those players I consider will be part of the first team for the upcoming season. It is a surprise that Inigo Martinez still hasn't left the club. This may be due to the injuries that Barcelona have at the center back position. Romeu is also rumored to stay at this point, along with Longley might actually stay as well because a lot of teams are not interested in him. Pablo Torre was another player that seemed like didn't have a very good loan spell, but he might also stay at Barcelona. Julian Araujo looks like the real deal at right back, and I expect him to make it to the first team. Looking at the right side of the list, you can see there's a lot of youngsters and unknown names to Barcelona fans. Some of these players that I expect to actually make a big impact to Hansi Flick would be Alex Valle at the left back spot, Pau Victor at the striker spot because he just got signed from Girona, Mikel Fay maybe potentially making as a left center back, Noah Darvic as a cam, the Fernandez cousins as they're really good midfielders with different profiles, and Marc Bernal. He is definitely one to watch during this preseason, as Hansi Flick was very impressed by him. He is a very young and talented midfielder who is pretty tall for his age. He is left-footed, very technical, solid off the ball. He can play the 6 and 8 midfield positions very well. I hope that he impresses Hansi Flick and maybe even makes the first team. So that's going to do it for today's video on Barcelona transfer news, along with preseason news involving Vitor Roque and his potential transfer away from the club, Raphinha's big offer from Saudi Arabia, Mikel Merino, and maybe him going to Arsenal, along with all the youngsters that are being called up for Barcelona's preseason. Drop a like and subscribe, it helps the channel out a ton, and see you next time. BuzzBarca.